I'm Deb Feldman-Stewart, and I'm a cognitive psychologist on faculty with Queens and the Cancer Research Institute. I'm also in the Department of Oncology there. And my research is focused on developing tools and ways to empower cancer patients to participate in their care to the extent that they want. I'm a psychologist who studies how people think, as opposed to how people feel. So most people are familiar with clinical psychologists, and those are the people who focus on feelings. And so I study how people think, how we process information, and how we can then capitalize on what we do naturally, what types of problems we might run into, how we can solve those problems, etc. So my mandate has been to develop tools to empower patients. I have focused on prostate cancer patients, and over the years have developed two tools, a decision aid and an information booklet that have been for prostate cancer patients and their families specifically. And in the past year, so we've managed to develop these tools and in a systematic fashion, and we're able to develop, to assess them, to show that they were more helpful to the patients and families than the current alternative supports out there. In the past year, we've been focused on trying to get these tools to the patients, and so we focused on designing websites. We thought that that would be one way to get them to the patients. We have gone through 3 different designs, and we haven't figured out yet how the patients actually want to get it, and so but this is an important point in the middle of, because it's what it's showing us is that maybe some of the assumptions we were making is wrong, and the ride for dad money is what we needed in order to help us understand that. Looking at that in sort of global terms, and we use what we call cognitive interviewing strategies. So we sit down, we design what we think is our best bet, and then we sit down with patients who are trying to use it to find out what types of things work for them, what doesn't work for them, get their suggestions and how we can make it work better for them, etc. So as I said, we've gone through 3 different designs, gone from too complex to too simple, and hopefully we're somewhere in between now. And so now the big question is, do the prostate patients and their families want to have access to this sort of thing, to a website? It's a very big discovery from my point of view, where we discovered that how we designed our decision aid actually is the most helpful for patients. And now that's not got implications just for the prostate cancer patients. It clearly does. Our decision aid is now available for public consumption. Anybody can use it when they want it. It's actually now, I just learned this morning, going to be taken in the Netherlands. They're translating it into Dutch, and are going to use it with Dutch prostate cancer patients. So, I mean, that was a little bit of information that we needed, but it turned out to be really critical, and so, yeah, thank you very much, Rod, for that. You know, we're at the point now where we got to figure out how to get these. We spent a lot of time doing our best to develop a solid, easily used tools, both of the booklet and the decision aid. And now it's about figuring out how to get them into the hands of people, the right people at the right time. And that turns out to be a bigger challenge than we had thought. And I think it's actually becoming more important to have funds like this available, because the competition is getting increasingly fierce to get big money from larger funding bodies. And lots of times, I mean, we need that money also, but there are lots of questions that can be answered with dollops here and dollops there, and strategically placed questions that can make a big difference.